turn it off when I can hear. Right, so are you boys still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Right, okay, so I've started it again. If it doesn't work this time and we can't bloody hear, then...
Yeah, notifications just come through.
Right, starting soon. Hopefully I'll hear myself and then I'll hear yous talking. If not, I'm going to have to abandon it for tonight.
Rewatching. Yeah.
Right, so are you boys still there?
It's working.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Right, okay, so I think it's working.
Yep.
Did you hear yourselves?
I did.
Yep.
Right, okay. So we can get on. I'm going to have to go and turn my camera back on. What a pain in the arse.
But at least.
Right, keep talking then. I'll go and try and turn my face cam on. We might get there in the end.
I think it's working.
Yeah, I think we're good. I'm going to put... Do you want to put a ping in server?
Very dark in that room you sit in, Devlin.
Alright, I've just put a ping up in there. Fucking hell, there's a dark room in it. Oh, I just saw a fucking face in the top left. Just all fucking squished up and bit crushed, nice. But, oh. I'd still read Devlin's old message. Just so the owner can go to
the... click on the new one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting intermittent stuttering on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, so
and now for some reason my camera's not working, so there's something. But at least we can talk anyway. So hopefully other people will come back and come and join the podcast. So I'm probably going to have to just use my webcam, and I'll sort it out live on the stream. So I'll do that now. Let's get this on.
I want to apologise to the people in chat. Yeah. I didn't realise that I was still coming through. If I was making weird sounds, I promised I wasn't getting moist. I was instead eating ice cream.
Okay, so... Right, let's get this sorted and then get my ugly mug on there. It's from the webcam this time. So let's get this on. I look like that guy, Resistors, whatever his name is.
Oh, what?
The guy who just died recently. Oh, I don't know what.
You mean creator of Berserk?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have died recently. I'm guessing you mean him.
Oh, this is all going tits up. Let's have a look. Let me have a look. Can't do it that way. That way. Not that way.
I can see about 3% of you.
Yeah.
It'll come on in a minute. It will come on in a minute.
All right, warm up.
Right, okay, so I just need to stretch that out a bit. I'm looking very blue at the moment and all different colours. So, what a nightmare. I don't know what it was with the audio. So, anyway.
Extreme close-up.
Taking the first now.
That looked beautiful.
Horrible it looked.
It looked like you just stretched it wider but didn't do the height. You just properly
resolution of your camera's like 10 by 1024.
So anyway,
how wide do you want it?
We're back on. I've got there eventually. So, right, we've got 7 watching. We need to start talking about this.
All
What a
right.
fiasco that was. So anyway, we were talking, we've finally done it. We were talking about Harsh Doorstop and the ISMC mod team that have sort of started collaborating together. And I'm really excited about this. And when I was sat there nodding into space about 20 minutes ago, half an hour ago, the missus came up, and then I looked at the chat and we found that we couldn't hear Balked or Stealth Slicer. So anyway, the game that we're talking about is Harsh Doorstop, and the reason I'm very excited, but we'll go back to the backstory. The reason I'm really excited is because the ISMC mod team are involved, and I'm a big fan. And like I was saying before, when I was nodding to myself, we had them on previously on a podcast, and you can go back and watch that. So tonight we've got Balked and Stealth Slicer. Finally, gentlemen, say hello.
Good evening.
Hey guys, and this time actually you can hear us.
Yeah, just. So hopefully people will come back. So anyway, so we're sort of repeating ourselves, Balked. You've actually experienced the game because I believe you went on the last playtest. What was your impressions of it?
Yeah, it's very good. Very fast-paced, very hardcore. Exactly what I like in a game. Yeah, it's rough around the edges. It's visually, this sounds harsh, but it's unimpressive. But it's designed to be that way, to bring in as many players as possible eventually, and not have the limitation of excellent hardware. But I think overall the gameplay was solid. It felt very very good in terms of input, very like Insurgency Sandstorm or even like original Insurgency. So everything's very quick and switchy. Personally, it's got a lot of promise. It was a playtest and it felt like a solid game as far as I'm concerned.
So it's something you're really interested in, Balk?
Absolutely. I think, from a tactical shooter background, it's kind of somewhere between Battlefield and Project Reality and Squad. It's a bit of a everything meets everything game.
Because I think he's actually mentioned a lot of people when you said Project Reality. A lot of people have saying that why is it so much like Squad, and he's took that as a positive, and he based it on such games or mods like Project Reality, and so he takes that as a plus, to be honest.
Absolutely is. I'm not saying that with any negative implication. I'm a huge Squad fan, huge Post-Scriptum fan. I'd be a huge Beyond the Wire fan if more than 30 people played it.
Yeah, no, it's a shame. It's a shame.
But yeah,
Evening Tacti.
I'm a big fan of the genre. I'm a big fan of the series.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be good. And I think one of the I think I mentioned to you before, there's a few barriers to entry for games like Squad. First one is price.
Yeah.
Second one is hardware. And third one's learning curve.
Yeah.
Now, if you can eliminate two of those three, price and hardware, you're onto a winner as far as I'm concerned. You're bringing a lot of players.
Yeah, I've got to agree with that, because at the end of the day, something that keeps your player base low is the accessibility in terms of hardware, in my opinion, because we see a lot of good games out there whose player base tanks out because at the end of the day they require people to have very high-end machines, like Sandstorm, for example. I know you guys have high-end machines, and I know every time we played it, Devlin, you were struggling with performance at points in time.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you open that up to more people and simply just make it available, more people will come, and that is only good for a game. More attention means more people, means more activity from devs, hopefully, because their product is doing better.
Sorry, go on, Bob.
Tactic Gamer just said an interesting thing, because it looks like the whole let loose of modern shooters. Yeah, it's definitely a huge element of Hell Let Loose, and I believe Drake said that in the stream as well.
Yeah.
But I think you've kind of got to lose that this is a modern shooter thing. They're going to bring out all three,
Right.
you know, World War One, World War Two, Vietnam, and modern
Yeah.
on top. And I don't think anybody's done that on the same platform.
And I think that's what the ISMC mod are concentrating on, the modern aspect of this sort of four sort of era sort of game modes that they've got in the actual game itself. I think they're concentrating on the modern and the Vietnam. I think that's why they were brought on board.
I've got to say that is something which is very, very interesting to me. I can't think of any other game which has decisively gone, here are X time periods for you to play in.
Yeah.
I know the original Black Ops, for example, it tried to do it, but it tried to do it in a very wishy-washy, shadowy way of just kind of plonking everything together and making a vague campaign that was set in World War II
Right.
and in the Cold War, and then was like, here's all your stuff and just pick some stuff. It felt very half-assed, but this is distinctive. Here are your different time periods playing them. So when I was watching the trailers and that, I was very confused for a moment because I was watching people using M4s and then suddenly a guy was using a Thompson. I was like, okay, interesting choice, but it's nice. It's nice that you have this variety. Then I was like, why is everyone a World War II USGI? And I was like, why are we in Vietnam now? I was very confused, but then I coined on, oh shit, these are different maps. These are different game modes. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah, I think ultimately the playstyle's the same. You know, it's quite clever. I mean, it's a slightly different topic, but Arma 3 just got a community DLC for SOG.
Oh yeah,
It's Vietnam era Arma made from a guy. The team used to be a modding community, well, community mod, and they've made it into a proper DLC now. And I've got to say, it's the most fun I've had in Arma.
Really?
In 3 years. I've honestly enjoyed every second of it. The guys have done an absolutely incredible job.
That's certainly another game I couldn't get into. I mean, we're going to have to sort this squad out. I still need to sort that out for you, Stealth, actually. I forgot all about that. I just remembered. Proton said, not sure how far ahead the stream is to him, but he wouldn't compare the game to Squad. He said more Rising Storm. And I think that's what he said on the actual playtest again. Correct me if I'm wrong, Borked. And he said Rising Storm was another one of those that he's basing the game on. So I think what people are saying is, oh, it looks like this. I think it's that. I think it's this. It's like a combination of them all. And I think Drakelin's quite happy with that assumption, what people are making. Does it look like Squad? Yeah, it does. Does it play like Squad to a certain extent? Yes, it does. Is it based on things like Rising Storm, Project Reality? Yeah, I think it's yes to all the above. So if I can just pop over to Stealth, this wasn't something on your radar, Stealth, till apparently today when me and Borked were actually talking about it. So what do you think of the project? Would it be something that you're actually interested in?
Yeah, you're very right in saying that. Just briefly recap what I said when you guys couldn't hear me. Yeah, I only found out that this existed about 4 hours ago. But looking into it, I think this can go places, as in seriously so, because I certainly see the comparisons that people are making between, I say, Arma, Squad, Rising Storm, so on and so forth. But yeah, I like it. I like the look at it. As I've said, I've not been into hardcore games before, simply because I've always been put off by the element of, you can't just sort of pick up and play. You have to kind of get in with people, and then
there's a massive learning curve. I think that's what put people off, though.
Yeah, it's not just the learning curve, it's the actual cohesion stuff, because everybody knows that pickup groups in hardcore games are terrible.
Sure.
And no one wants to just lone wolf it. So I was always like, well, I don't know a community and I don't want to get involved with all this yes sir, no sir, ass kissing shit. So I never bothered with it for the longest time until we started discussing it recently. But as we said in the other stream, go watch it, guys. It was a really interesting conversation. I'm coming around to the idea of actually picking up hardcore games more, and this is yet again another creator that is coming out and saying, "Here's a hardcore game. It's not your typical armor. It's not your typical squad."
Sure.
And I think in the past couple of years, we are really starting to see the hardcore genre flourish. Because I mean, a couple of years ago, you didn't have this many options, but
No.
past couple of years, we've got a lot more.
I think everything's very cyclic, especially in the gaming world. The last time that we saw good, real hardcore games was literally 20 years ago. 2000 to 2004.
Yeah, that's true.
And we've had a long period of kind of boilerplate, knocked out each year shooters. They destroyed the Battlefield franchise. They destroyed the Call of Duty franchise. To the point where, people play it and people buy them, but the vast majority of people are disappointed on release, and everybody's hankering for a little bit more. But we've now got a situation where everybody has the ability to communicate. There's no reason why you can't play games as a team. It doesn't have to all be about the individual. And I think we'll see that shift. It's literally the definition of social gaming. And I think some of us are around in the very early days of that. And it's kind of nice to see it coming back.
I think we're having one or two more problems as well. Apparently, the stream's a bit stuttery now. I don't know. Maybe it was something originally to do with YouTube. I don't know if that's why we're sort of having the issues. Because I've just had a look at the sort of stream health, and it does say it's quite poor, to be honest. But I'm not overly sure why. Maybe it was YouTube. Maybe it wasn't us. Maybe it wasn't us that were having a problem. Because all I did was actually restart the computer. I didn't really do anything. So I actually don't know. I actually don't know if we should carry on with this because it'd be a bit silly if it's really stuttery.
I'm seeing stutters roughly every 4 or 5 seconds. It'll just pause for a brief moment, give me a spinner, and then it'll go away.
Yeah, I've just closed Chrome and opened it in a new tab, and it's absolutely fine now.
Oh yeah,
okay, let me try that then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I
do have to apologise, chat. Something is going on.
Yeah, something's really bad.
I think that the actually just open up a new tab and it's completely fine.
Maybe do that. If you can open a new tab with the stream on it, it might be fine. On mine, it seems okay, but it did show that it was quite poor. So if you're actually watching the stream just at the moment, there is 1 or 2 people watching it. Just open a new tab and watch the stream from there. Hopefully, that'll sort of sort that out.
I think that.
Has that done it for you, boys?
Yeah, that's done it for me.
All good for me.
Okay, so let's get back. So, you know, I'm a big fan of the ISMC team. I'm in awe of what they did for Sandstorm, and I don't think they get enough recognition for it. And I'm really happy that there's some other developers out there. I know they were speaking to Ground Branch as well. But for them to do something with Harsh Doorstep, I think this is going to be massive. I've got, my fingers crossed that this game is going to be something special. And I actually think it's going to be something special. But I think a plus for the both parties, because I admire Harsh Doorstep, what they're doing with that Drakelin, and I admire ISMC. I think this could be something really, really special.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I know when we were interviewing Anders & Co. in the ISMC stream,
smashing lads
now, actually. Yeah, absolutely great lads. And they was telling us on stream and afterwards, they wanted to spread their wings more. They wanted to flex their creative muscle. And I think with the guys stopping the door harshly, I think they're going to get that opportunity. I think we're going to see really great things from them.
Yeah,
where does this leave ISMC?
That was my other question, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you know what? There's obviously been a big Insurgency Sandstorm update recently. I know I posted I'd update my servers, but I haven't. I've to be fair, not really thought about it. It just hasn't happened. Surely with the player count, these guys moving somewhere else. It's another big.
Yeah,
definitely
I
with,
can
I've
I
got.
can definitely see. Sorry, go on, Devon.
I was just going to say, I can see Insurgency Sandstorm, even though I love the game. I know I've been quite salty about the game. I think it's dead and gone now. If these boys stop making, more mods for the game or sort of abandon the game, I'm not saying they're going to do that because, that's where they really started off. That's how they created their own community. But I honestly think if Insurgency Sandstorm spend more of their development time on Harsh Doorstep and other projects, I think that's Insurgency Sandstorm done. I honestly do. I think it's done, even though they've had this last big update.
I've got to agree with you there, to be honest, because at the end of the day, the ISMC guys have been telling us on the stream, we want to do more, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to do the other. And NWI is just choking them or ignoring them at every turn, basically. Yeah. I think that what we'll see from those guys, because they are genuinely great guys, I'm not just saying that, we spoke to them,
they are smashing
completely out of context as well of the stream and everything. They're just good guys. I think we'll probably see a message at some point in the future. Again, not going to say it's happening because we don't know. I think we'll get something where they'll basically give a apology of, sorry guys, but we're no longer going to support the ISMC mod. We're no longer going to be progressing it. It'll still be out there. You can still use it if you want, but we're no longer going to put it in active development. Instead, we're moving on to other projects.
Yeah, such as Harsh Doorstop. Want to say thank you, Dave. One shot. He said he's come late, mate. You've come at probably the best time because this is actually our second stream. We couldn't hear the panel's audio. Then the stream was stuttering. It seems to be all right now, but we're talking about a game called Harsh Doorstop and their sort of collaboration. I don't know if it is a collaboration or it's just ISMC are going in there and saying, look, we'll make mods. I don't know, is it a complete collaboration? I'd like to believe that these two are officially working together. I mean, obviously they're working on the game because Dratelin said they are the ones concentrating on the modern aspect of Harsh Doorstop and Vietnam. I'm really, really, really excited. If people have not heard of Harsh Doorstop, please get your radar out, get onto Harsh Doorstop. If you want to help the development of the game, they do have, is it a Patreon? Do they have bought?
Yeah.
Is it a Patreon?
So for the tiny fee of £4, you can get a basic Patreon, which will give you access to the game. Obviously, eventually it's going to be free. Actually, do you know what? It's a bit kind of out there and on the fly. But we'll arrange a competition and I'll buy somebody a copy.
Yeah, we could do something.
We'll find a solution. But at the moment, the game's relatively empty most of the time, unless it's a playtest.
Yeah. And then it's massively full.
Yeah, like a full server.
You actually get big names on playing as well. You like your Karma Cuts and.
Yeah. I joined yesterday, and Blue Drake himself was on my team leading the squad, and there was loads of names in there you'll recognise from YouTube and different places.
Content creators,
yeah, all sorts. Yeah,
I think something else that's just sort of vaguely important to say is that a lot of people do shy away from Patreon and other things because they think, oh, it's a monthly subscription. Am I going to get my worth out of it?
Yeah.
But as Buck said, it's £4 a month. By the time, exactly.
Yeah. So if you cancel after the first month, you've still got your key. It's a £4 donation for
pretty much, and that's what he's looking for, people to just support what he's doing. I personally, I was lucky enough to, I got a key beforehand. I personally was happy about that, but I'm openly willing to support his development of this game, and more so. And I know I keep saying it because the ISMC mods guys team are on there. I'm a fanboy. It's as simple as that. And that the salty RC Devlin is actually a fanboy of a modding team. I love these guys. I think they're great. Could it be love, love, love?
Oh god, someone shut him up. Yeah, what I was going to say though is like, as Borg said, it's £4 to get a key, but also people will be thinking, I'm not sold on this whole idea of monthly subscription, paying in something like that. You're gonna get 10 months ish at least before you're paying anything near the price of a retail game.
Sure.
And in 10 months, things are going to have happened.
But like Bork said, look, you pay the first month. I mean, this.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just saying for people who are considering supporting
exactly.
the game.
Yeah, I'd like to support the game by just making some sort of contribution. In all fairness, but I think it's worth whatever amount of money what's his first sort of level? Did you say £4, Bork?
Yeah, so it's £4.
So it's £4 UK, and you actually get access to a key then?
Yep, and everything. There are some stuff that is restricted to other ones, like other games he's working on, different things. But if you want an alpha pass for Operation Harsh Doorstop, £4 per month. Or 10% if you 10% less if you pay annually. There's a few different ones. The next one's £11.50, £23,
sure.
£38.50, £54, and £77. But yeah, I mean, you want access to the game, you want to play it, see what it's all about. £4. That's
I mean, like Stel said, it's £4, and I know there's people out there that can't afford it. But you know what?
More than that where I live.
Say that again.
So a pint costs more than that.
Where I live, Edinburgh,
wrong.
you wouldn't. Some places you'd only get a half pint for that box. Honestly,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know? I think it all boils down to if you want to support the game. I know there's a lot of people that will say, "Well, the game's coming out for free anyway." But you've got to remember, this is just a guy. It's community based. There's only one thing that bothers me, and I think me and Bork talked about this before, and I like to be open, and I said it as well, that I'm getting a bit tired about the clickbait videos that Blue Drake is putting out. It sort of gets my back up a little bit, and I think if anyone was on the fence about supporting the game, and I think possibly that could put them off a little bit.
I think what you got to remember is that you are buying in to support a project, not a person.
Yeah.
I agree. Some of his videos, some of the titles, some of the games that he puts up, I just shake my head. But I also understand that he's doing probably a bit of a service in supporting smaller developers and people who aren't making the best of games, but they're trying and that they're on the same kind of wavelength. It's not all negative. I think, there's more positives here than there is negatives. It's a very small gripe in an otherwise quite positive world. The fact that somebody's out there making a game with the intention of making it free, making it, cross different historical scenarios.
Yeah.
You look at Squad now. Squad's £40. Postscriptum, I think, is the same price. I'm sure Beyond the Wire is not too far off.
Not miles away, no.
Yeah, but to bring all of those plus Vietnam together for free
for absolutely
on the same
nothing.
Platform,
yeah.
I'm happy to pay £4 a month to get that off the ground.
Yeah,
why not?
Exactly, and
even if I never play it for other people, let's.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, a lot of people like myself, Stealth, yourself, Bork, will be the first people to rant about situations, regardless what game it is. I mean, my scenario with Insurgency Sandstorm. But if someone's doing something right, shall I go as far as saying ethical? That this guy is making this game for absolutely nothing. And this is why I like the ISMC so much, is because they All right, okay, so modders do it because they want to mod a game. They don't expect payment. But the ISMC, I think, propped up Insurgency Sandstorm, and they did it for absolutely nothing. They're going into harsh doorstop, I'm sure, for absolutely nothing. Because, looking forward one day, they might be one of these developers. Because it happens, they start off as modding teams and they end up as, a great studio. But, at this moment in time, you've got Harsh Doorstop, Blue Drake, Harsh Doorstop, you've got the ISMC modding team, and all they're asking for is a little bit of support. And I think I'm with Balked on that. £4 a month is absolutely nothing to support a development. Even, like you said, even if you're not going to play the game, support it for other people that might play the game. Because Balked might not play this game for 3-6 months, and then he might think, oh, I forgot I've got a Harsh Doorstop. Let's see how it's going, and absolutely love it again. I do the same. With myself with Insurgency Sandstorm. Sometimes I don't know what it is. Sometimes I feel because the way that the studio acts, I feel I don't want to play it. But when I play it, I actually love it again.
I think this is really important as well. This model, this idea of kind of give what you think it's worth, and if you think it's supported, then do it. It's so much better than early access. It's so much better than fixed price.
Sure.
Do you know what? The amount of times I bought a game for 20 quid and I thought, do you know what? I wouldn't pay £2 for this.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There are other times where I buy a game for 20 quid and thought, do you know what? I'd pay full 50 quid for this.
I'd pay AAA prices for this. Yeah.
But do you know what? Letting me pay what I want means I can still support the developers and give them what they're worth.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are going to go, it's free, it's cool, that's it. I'm not going to give nothing. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But there's people like me, and there's people like other people here who will happily give that money and know that actually, do you know what? It's just about supporting people who are essentially creating art.
Because it is. I mean, it is. I think it's officially seen as an art now, Balked.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. And this is why Patreon's called Patreon, because historically you had a Patreon of the arts, somebody who would pay somebody to go out and make something just because. And
not necessarily for you, for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing that I find really just it makes me feel a little bit more hot and fuzzy inside, just a bit happy with myself with this pay what you want model, is that it really does, to a certain extent, take away that sort of toxic thing around games, which is what is your bottom line? What is the profit that I'm going to make off this? I'm making an early access game, right? What profits do I want to make? I'll slap a 30 quid price tag on that. I'll develop it to a point. I'll get my money. I'll be happy. I'll leave. You can really tell that there is something else going on when it's a pay what you want, because they don't care if they're getting nothing off you or if they're getting 50 quid off of you. They're just happy that you're supporting them to go and do what they want.
Correct.
They're not looking at the bottom line.
So, I think it's if you've got a good product, you don't worry about the bottom line,
because it will sell itself at the end of the day.
It's going to sell. The fact that we're talking about this now, and we've devoted the last pretty much half hour to talking about it, is evidence that even before the thing's actually been released, that because people like the model, people like the subject matter, doesn't matter if they like the game or not, they're going to talk about it, they're going to tell their friends about it, and it's going to bring people in. And ultimately, even if 1 in 10 people actually pay, if it pays the bills and gets the game out, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. I think Blue Drake has said at one point, he says, look, he does need support, he does need help, obviously financially, but he said he's always made it perfectly clear this is going to be a free game. And he says, he's supporting himself apparently on YouTube. And I actually didn't slag him off. I said, I'm sometimes pisses me off a little bit about the clickbait titles that he puts out there. But he said he's supporting the project with his YouTube channel at the moment. So, maybe I have to backtrack and say, I was wrong. He has to do this. He's got to find funds from somewhere. Things like this don't pay themselves. I mean, you know, maybe he's got a day job, maybe the people that are helping him out have got a day job, but you know, somewhere along the line, a man's got to get paid.
Yeah. My question is, don't concern yourself with this right now. What's he going to make next?
Right, exactly.
The money's rolling in, you know. Like I've said before, that you know some of my favourite studios, Tripwire being a good example, came out of the modding community,
Modding scene,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know that they made Red Orchestra and Killing Floor, games that you know I absolutely love. Now they're a studio who makes big money. They release big games. They haven't for a while, but they historically have, just out of a love of doing what they do. All of their games are very similar themes, good gunplay, good mechanics. And this is a very similar thing. It's very easy for somebody who develops these skills in a modern environment or a similar environment to this to turn around and make something that's you know.
And I think you're happy. I think you're happy to support people like this because you know they're doing it not just to make a few quid, a quick buck, whatever the phrase is, because you know. I mean, Blue Drake, you can obviously see, you can sense it, but because of his excitement when he's actually playing his own game, you can see that he really wants to make this for his and the community that he's going to build up. I'm actually going to support this game. I'm going to probably make some more content on the channel about it, and I'm really excited that the ISMC are involved, and like Stel said before, genuinely nice guys. And you know what, I'm going to reiterate that these people do it for absolutely nothing. So and I don't implore you, but I ask you if you're interested in the game. If you've never heard of it, it's called Doorstop.
Stop.
I know. And if you can, please support them on Patreon. What I'll do after the video is I'll put a link to the Patreon in the description of the video if I remember. If not, I'll put it in tomorrow. So what do you think will make a difference? I'll go to Stealth on this one. So Harsh Doorstop has been going along, developing into the game it is at the moment. So your experience with ISMC, Stealth, what do you think they could bring to the table? Or, I mean, I know you don't know a lot about the game, so let me go back. There's a World War II aspect, World War One aspect. There's a Vietnam, which the ISMC are doing a little bit of work on. And there's a modern, I think, if I can remember rightly, please, Bork, correct me if I'm wrong, it's some sort of mercenary group.
Yeah. It's to be fair, from what I've seen, they're fairly nondescript factions.
Okay.
But yeah, in terms of theatres, it's exactly what you said.
Okay, so
honestly,
what do you think they're going to bring to the table? Because I love the content that they brought to Insurgency Sandstorm.
If you want my answer in one word, it's going to be manpower. Because at the end of the day, if you have one person working away at PC 8 to 12 hours a day, that's 8 to 12 man hours. If you bring in a full modding team of ISMC who has... how many members does that they have? I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway... If you bring all of those guys on and then they start putting in hours, you can easily see how that snowballs. Because if you've got one guy who's plodding away, happy as Larry, he can get his stuff done. But if he's then being backed up by people with the expertise and the ability to really get in there with him, that it's going to come on leaps and bounds. Absolutely. Like, I see it properly taking off if they get on board and really just, as I say, invest in that manpower pool that you have to work with.
I can see this with them on board being, I know I keep saying it, but really, really special. And do you know what? I just need to say it because I know I've seen comments about the lads at ISMC, and they said, I've seen comments saying, oh, you've stole this, you've stole that, you've stole this. And they're open. They say they actually sometimes buy models, buy assets, and then they tweak them to what they need for the game. they're not hiding this. Sometimes they do buy models and assets because, you know, these people work for absolutely nothing. So it's easy for them to just buy it. They do actually make their own models. I've got to reiterate, you know, the skins and the cosmetics, you know, please stop getting on these people's back because, yes, sometimes they will buy a model and then model it into the way they want it for the game. Sorry, Bob.
As I say, do you think Da Vinci made his own brushes? Of course he fucking didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You know, he's a master at one thing doesn't mean he's a master at another. You know, you know, it doesn't compute in my mind. Yeah, you're an amazing developer who can make these great technical games, but you're not an artist.
Exactly.
You know? Nobody expects you to be, and in my mind, nobody wants you to be. Carry on making your thing that makes you good. Let a good artist make your models. Let a good, you know, designer make your textures and your skybox or whatever it is.
Exactly.
You know, this idea that one person's got to do everything to me is absurd.
Ludicrous. It is.
AAA title.
Absolutely.
Can I? Sorry, just beforehand, Stealth. Can I just sort of comment on what Proton said there? Funny though how Blue Drake tries to claim people shouldn't make stuff for money whilst making money, showing off his game for his 300,000 sub YouTube channel. And he then went on to say, I don't think he understands not everyone has that 300k channel to ride off. And do you know where he got that from? In all fairness, I like Proton. I think you're a nice guy and I know that you're into development yourself, but he got that because a lot of his subscribers as because of his developments or his whatever he's done in the, you know, for the community. He's got them people because of that. And yes, he does advertise, and I did say that before. He's actually said, and he's opened up, he does actually make some of his money to keep the game going from his YouTube channel. He does actually say that you know, he supports the game from his channel. So I have to support him, Proton. I have to say, he openly says, yes, I actually make money, keep the game going for free through the YouTube channel. So, you know, Proton, like your fella, but you know, he does actually, he is open about it, because I think, you know, I would be on that like a car bonnet. I'd be on it like a car bonnet. If I think someone was taking the piss, I'd be totally on it. I actually don't think he's taking the piss.
You know, let's face it, if any of us here had organically grown a YouTube channel to 300k users, we'd use it to promote our own projects all day long.
Exactly, totally,
yeah, we would.
Totally.
But I mean, you know, like, why have a superpower and not use it? Like,
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you've got an option of paying for advertisement or advertising yourself. One of these is much better than the other.
Yeah,
especially if you've got 3,000 subs.
The free one. I mean, he's got 1/3 of a million subs, and you know what? You sometimes you've got to manipulate it. You know, some people watch my channel because of my rages or my saltiness against Insurgency Sandstorm, but that's not what I'm actually all about that, because I am and I'm not, because I like saying what I want to say. I don't give a shit what anyone thinks. Proton said on my Twitter just recently, base Devlin is the best Devlin. I'm actually still the same. I don't give a flying fuck, to be honest, what people think of me. But, you know, if I think someone is doing something right for the gaming community, then of course I'm going to support them. I'm not just out there just to give salt. I'm not one of these generic, I am the bad guy, I'm going to slag something off just because that's my rhetoric, that's my channel. So I've got to support him. Yes, like Bork said, like Stel said, if you've got free, if you can merchandise your product for free through your channel, then yeah, shit, I'm definitely going to do that.
It's just basic pragmatism, you know. I have it. therefore I use it. Nothing wrong with that. Not at all.
And why would you not? Do you know what? There's if he's got 300,000 YouTube subs, that's 300,000 people out of 7 billion who think, do you know what? This guy's worth listening to.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Nothing else. Now, you don't have to agree with that. You don't have to think that he's worth listening to. You don't have to. Like 90% of the things I say, I disagree with tomorrow. It's just talk, isn't it? It's just how it is. Not everybody's consistent in that.
And he's, what I like about him, Blue Drake, he's open with it. He does say, I support the game with the channel.
Yeah, it's I can't see any problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you really want to split hairs and argue the point, Blue Drake is saying, I have this 300k YouTube channel. I am gaining money off it.
And he didn't always have that, Stealth. He didn't always have it. He's got a lot off the fact of what he's doing.
Exactly. I am putting... Exactly. This is my point. If you take all of these and then you consider it, and he's being open and honest about it, now look at Devlin. Devlin has had major issues with NWI. He's had major support of Insurgency Sandstorm in the same breath. He's just giving his opinion. He's saying it how it is. They're doing the same thing.
Pretty much.
Way you cut it.
Pretty much. And I think people like Blue Drake and ISMC don't get the support that they actually deserve. Now, obviously, Blue Drake via Harsh Doorstop is advertising the fact that he's got a Patreon. He wants support for the game, and it can only get, I think, only can get better with support. Now, the ISMC ask for nothing. I'm sure they'll come to some sort of arrangement, hopefully. And I can only see good things from the pair of them. I like the fact that Blue Drake is open and honest, because I would be the first one to get on his back. I'd be the first one to start calling him out. I'm the first one to, if I think people are doing something wrong. Do you honestly think people out there who think I'm salty, do you think I was always like this with Insurgency Sandstorm? No, I was streaming them every other night. I was supporting them. I was promoting them. There was people that weren't even playing this game, and I'm saying, look, I'm playing this. They're saying, oh, are you going to play Call of Duty? Are you going to play Battlefield? No, I'm playing Insurgency Sandstorm. They got pissed off with me, but I pushed for Insurgency Sandstorm, and then they started being dicks. And, that's when I will come at them. I'm liking what Blue Drake is doing at the moment. Big fan of the ISMC. So this project for me is a plus. I can't say anything at this moment in time bad about it. If he goes back on what he's actually saying he's doing, which is not at the moment, then yes, I'll be the first one to make a video and start calling him out. It's not always a case of someone just being salty for being salty's sake.
Absolutely. I mean, we say on pretty much every stream we do about whatever topic, we're just giving our opinion. Yeah. We're not trying to cause a scene or internet drama or any bollocks like that. It's just, hey, Stealth, what do you think of this? This is what I think. And then Bork comes in and says, well, I disagree with you on that. And then we back and forth, and
which many a time Bork does. He gives his own personal views. We don't fall out, so I don't understand why. Actually, I do. It's the internet, but people say because they want to be white knights or they want to be friends of people who are involved in the game or blah 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 blah. But what I like about the panel we've got at the moment is the fact that Borks will turn around and say, well, actually, I want to be devil's advocate and say, I don't agree with that, Devlin. I think it should be this. And I think, as an adult, that's how it should be. You shouldn't, feel like you've got your arse slapped just because you don't agree with what someone else has said.
Isn't it all about balance?
Absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely.
That's the primary thing. I'm absolutely put my hands up and say I play devil's advocate even when I completely disagree with the point I'm making.
Right.
but isn't that the point of exploring ideas?
Exactly.
course.
Exactly.
I don't want an easy ride. I
No,
want people to challenge me. I want people to tell me I'm wrong, and I want to defend when I think I'm right.
But would you this is to both of you gentlemen, I'll go with both first, but say for argument's sake you had an issue with something or someone and then it was proven that, I won't say you were wrong, but you weren't right, would you turn around and say, yes, I apologise, I wasn't right, I was wrong in that situation? Would you do that, Bort? Exactly. Stealth, would you do that as well?
Absolutely. I mean, we've said this countless times. Again, using Insurgency Sandstorm as the example, where we've hit them and hit them and hit them with criticism, but at the end of every single point we've made, sometimes split even that thing, we've said, but if they turned around, you've said it yourself, Devlin, I'll hold my hands up and I'll say I was wrong, because at the end of the day, we're not doing it for shitty internet views or creating some bollocks persona.
We do this because we like doing it. Do you think we like giving up a fucking Friday night? I could be downstairs with Jack watching a movie, having a drink. I'm having a drink now, but having a drink. But no, I choose to sit on a Friday night with the boys, discussing something. We don't just go, honestly, let me tell you something. We don't go out there just thinking, how can we piss someone off? Because every single time we talk about how did it get to Insurgency Sandstorm again? But anyway,
it's a good example.
No, but we always say we love the game.
If you sat with a mindset to piss somebody off, it's a really, really, really easy start point.
Yeah,
it's not even fun. It's so easy to upset somebody. It's not even fun. Let's challenge ourselves. Let's fight the opposite corner. Let's see what somebody else has got to say. Now, ultimately, like you said, an apology, not a problem. I'll make it. I'll suck it up and say I was wrong.
Yeah.
Because I'd much rather have that embarrassment than a permanent regret of not speaking up and being honest.
Correct. Should we go back to Insurgency Sandstorm about not speaking up?
Well, again, this all ties in very nicely, and this is all about, having the balls to stand up and say, do you know what? I made a fucking mistake, lads, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
There's no shame in making a mistake.
That's a problem, but they just won't do it. They won't do it. I know. I actually don't know, because the person I used to speak to, I spoke to him about 2 weeks ago, but before that it was months and months and months. Do you know what? I'm going to say it again. This game is not coming out on console.
Yeah, it's just, I just can't see it happening. But
and the studio lasts for another game.
No, I know. The Embracer Group are going to bump these boys. They just want the IP, and they'll bring out the game. I've said this, I think. It's really weird how Mikey, my favourite person at the studio, Mikey went, about 2-3 weeks ago? Father Hank, useless puppet boy, he's gone. Apparently he's still working at the studio, though, when he moves over to Australia. And, there's so many people leaving at the moment, and there's lots of new people coming in. I think that the Embracer Group are probably doing the right thing. Hopefully they can hand everything over to Saber Interactive and make it really decent. But I don't think we'll get in, especially Insurgency, I don't think we'll get that again from the studio. We won't get Insurgency Sandstorm. I think we'll get something really watered down next time. I think because they want to move into, they want to compete with like your Call of Duties and your Battlefields. I think that's what's going to happen.
It's a different game entirely.
Yeah, I think we've lost that. That's the last we've seen of what we enjoyed about Insurgency Sandstorm. I honestly do.
As these modding projects expand into fully fledged projects of their own and money becomes involved, it's not always as clear cut as, they do a great job and continue to make great products. There's pitfalls along the way. And I think that NWI, from going back to Insurgency mod, have they hit a peak with the first Insurgency standalone, and they fell into all of the pitfalls and traps that they should never have fell into with Sandstorm. And don't get me wrong, it's a good product as it is now, but it wasn't a good product when it was released.
It was awful.
It wasn't. It was terrible. And I think that they fell into a lot of these pitfalls, and it's not, it's not 100% their fault as individuals or as a community. Let's face it, this is a dog-eat-dog world. It's challenging, and they try to do the best with what they got. And they did a very good job at producing and releasing a game.
Because I genuinely think they wanted to release something that they wanted to play what the community would really love. And I honestly balked. Stealth, I have no idea where they went wrong. I have no idea. I can't even visualize the point that they sort of veered off to, It
all goes back to the first standalone. The alpha was incredible. It was raw, it was gritty, it was everything that we wanted. And then they started to copy Battlefield. And they put in a kill feed, and they put in all these nice special effects which didn't add anything to the game other than lower FPS, and that they kind of took away from the core feeling, but not enough to make anybody worried. And we all carried on playing it for many, many hours. Then Sandstorm came out, and we wanted them to go back to that rawness and that early.
Correct.
And they didn't. It took them 2 years to get back to that rawness and that fun, fast-paced gameplay.
Argue that they never even made it back.
Well, yeah.
And people still complain that it's not the game that it used to be. They want the higher textures. They try to lower the sort of, they sort of remove the HD textures so it was more like Insurgency. And, people complain. Then that's the mistake they made. I personally think they should have stuck with whatever the rhetoric was of the game that they were designing. Stick with that and improve on that, because we know it was an absolute mess. But what they did, for me anyway, was just they just downgraded everything and thought that that's what everyone wanted.
I think that they were technologically limited with where they could go with the Source engine. You'd made one great game in it. There's nothing out there that was going to say your next game was going to be any better. It's just going to be a remake, or like a carbon copy sequel. So I understand why they went with Unreal. I 100% behind them with that. But I think they bit off more than they could chew early on. Hence the performance and the problems and all these things.
Because it was bad at the beginning.
Yeah. It took them a long time to steer this tanker of a project into a place where it was working well. And do you know what? It is still working well now. But by that point, they'd lost their audience. They'd lost their Steam. And again, just going out on a limb, looking at Steam charts, they lost their money.
Definitely.
Now they've lost the people. And if you haven't got a product, people, or money, what have you got?
Yeah.
What have you got?
I wonder why do you think? I know we were supposed to be talking about Harsh, Doorstop, and the ISMC.
It always comes back to it.
But because we can finish off soon, because we've probably done an hour or so. But where did Insurgency or NWI go wrong, and why do you think? Because I was really confused about this, because a big company like the Embracer Group, because they are massive, why do you think it probably was happening back scenes a lot longer than we think, but why do you think they actually purchased NWI? Sort of when the player count was fucking dwindling, to be honest.